out there in the cyber world?
We're up to, on the podcast, we're up to over 250, which is great. And then, I don't know if you knew, but Brickyard Battalion just hit over 3,000 today.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so they just hit over 3,000 today, so that's pretty awesome.
Great.
Anyway, we're live. Hey, everybody. Wave to the camera, folks. Coach is over there. Let me just let me have you scoot over just a little bit so we can see that moneymaker of yours, Coach. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 3 of the Voice of the Brickyard Battalion, permanent relegation. As you notice, it's just Andy this time, which is okay. Chris had to go home. He was a little under the weather. He tried to tough it out as long as he could. He just couldn't do it. But in his stead, of course, Coach Sommer, you came along. You're gonna kind of spend a little bit of time with us today. But you brought a tag along. You brought your assistant with you.
We did.
Tim
The brains
Regan
of the operation.
Yes. So Tim, you're gonna kind of take the place of Chris.
Yeah, I can handle that.
But anyway, let's get the particulars out of the way first before we really start getting going. Of course, Permanent Relegation Podcast at PR Podcast Show is the Twitter handle. At Indy11 is your guys'. Do you guys have personal Twitter accounts, correct?
Correct.
At Summer11.
Summer11.
With an O.
With an O.
Do you have a Twitter account?
I have a fake one for reading things. I am not live.
You have a fake one for reading things.
Yes.
Okay. So you follow some stuff just to kind of keep up with current events and things, but you don't. Okay, cool. At the _BYB, of course, is the Brickyard Battalion at Indy11. You can find us on Facebook at Permanent Relegation and permanentrelegation.com. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you. We're going to get to some questions here from you guys. Of course, use the hashtag BYBcast to ask either Tim or Juergen any kind of questions you have. Of course, Juergen, a friend of the show, has been on the show before, so I thank you for coming back on again. Of course, you guys had a busy weekend, I think, right? You had something going on Saturday, I believe.
Took a good chunk of the evening.
But we are, of course, live here at Fisher's, Chatham Tap and Fisher's. Just want to kind of get through some things. Of course, if you've ever been to the beautiful confines here at Chatham Tap, you can watch MLS games, Premier League games, Champions League games. The Indy 11 game was actually shown here for people who couldn't make it down to the stadium,
right?
Which, based off attendance, wasn't that many people that couldn't actually go there because it was packed house. Which we'll talk about that here in a few. And of course, 1070 The Fan and FM 107.5, which actually you've been on a couple of times, the Soccer Saturday thing with Greg Regstraw.
Right.
They're going to start broadcasting live here at Chatham Tap on Saturdays, starting April 19th at 9 a.m. So Greg Regstraw, and he'll have some guests. They'll be up here. You can drink, watch some Premier League games, and then interact with them when they're here live at Chatham Tap and Fishers. And, of course, at Fishers Chatham Tap is the Twitter handle for Chatham Tap and Fishers. So, now with that out of the way, let's talk about the game on Saturday against the Railhawks, which was a team last year finished, I think, second or third in the table last year. What kind of preparation really went into that game, going into that game based off of you knowing and watching game film and them having no idea of what you guys are actually really going to bring to the table, except for a handful of exhibition games that might have been on tape?
We're trying to do as much legwork as we could with resources that Tim and I had in the college ranks. They did a lot of what we did in the preseason, bringing trialists in, college games, rotating through a number of formations and players looking for the right fit in certain roles, as we did a little bit through the preseason. So we got some feedback from some of the college coaches that they played. We didn't see them on the road in some of the places we were in Arizona, Florida, as we kind of mixed it up a little bit with MLS teams as well.
Sure.
So a lot of it just came through word of mouth, a little bit of video from more of the college ranks, and they've got a good core of players. So they brought back a pretty sturdy core, one of the best teams in NESL last season with their overall record, very strong. And they've been in the league for a while, so they've got a great basin of very talented ACC college players in and around them. So they're always going to be, I think, a relevant force in the NESL.
Sure. And what was your guys' initial impression? Obviously, you guys played in front of. I mean, you guys have both played. Did you play collegiately or?
Collegiately and MLS.
Okay, so you played. Who'd you play for at MLS?
Metro Stars,
Okay.
Chivas USA.
Okay. And then what's your other than the assistant coach at Indy 11? What are your other roles as well? Juergen usually gets a lot of the spotlight, and then he'll get most of the spotlight this evening. Oh, look, he's like, no, this guy over here. But like, what kind of other things are you doing aside from the assistant coaching at the Indy 11?
Besides whatever Juergen tells me,
He's a Hall of Famer. Don't let him.
Oh,
You got to
that's
ask him
true.
about that. Could be the trivia question
Ooh.
tonight.
Except you just gave away the answer.
I did. I didn't say where though.
Okay.
the other roles are weekly preparations for opponents, scouting, recruiting potential players for the future, video analysis, daily training, preparation and recap, and
Okay.
everything else Juergen tells me.
That's fine, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's your role, right?
Right.
You gotta be there
Right.
for him. And what was your guys'? Obviously you guys have both played in front of some big crowds. In terms of the crowd on Saturday, obviously being here in Indy, what was your reaction once you got there? Obviously you were hearing rumblings of numbers of how many people, it was sold out. Of course I was too, and the expectations that I've had going into it obviously are a little different because you guys have played in front of crowds similar to that before. But when you actually got there and got to the stadium and saw the mass of people, and especially the Brickyard Battalion folks that were extremely loud the entire time. I don't know if you guys watched the broadcast of the game. I hope so.
Yeah, no, we have.
You could hear it the entire time. And it even got to the point where Rakestraw and Howder, I think Howder,
Brad Howder.
were commenting on it a couple of times during the game because it was so loud and because it was just constant. What was your guys' and the players? You probably got feedback from the players as well. What kind of feedback did you get back from them too, based off the crowd that you saw on Saturday?
I guess I'll start. For me, Tim and I got down there quite early just to prepare and kind of get the dressing room ready and get our thoughts ready for the players coming in, knowing the importance of the game. And you could already see the activity starting to build in around the stadium early. 4:30, 5 o'clock. Fans are starting to tailgate in the parking lots a little bit. As our operations crew was setting up the stadium, you could see people wanting to come in early.
Right.
And you could really see the buzz in around the stadium, which I think is, and Tim knows as well, he's been to a lot of U.S. soccer events and World Cup qualifying games, and you start to see the buzz outside the stadium. You know it's going to be a good night, that the venue is going to be a little bit electric. So as we got closer to the game, Tim went out with some of the players to do some early warm-ups. And you could see it. You could feel it well early before the game. So that was my first impression that I knew it was going to be a meaningful night.
Everyone knew it was going to be a special event, but when you show up, and especially for us as the team, we had spent a lot of time at IUPUI training in the last 6 weeks and watched the facility unfold from the bleachers going in behind each goal, east and west side, and then the suites across, and made it more of a soccer playing venue. But to see the people in the stands and the players all agreed unanimously, it was just breathtaking throughout the course of the game. You could picture it in your head. You can draw a nice computer animated image on the website, but
Right.
The real thing was really unbelievable.
And did you guys get a chance to see the TIFO, the big Indianapolis Skyline TIFO that went up, which was I should have been keen to that, but it kind of surprised me anyway because I think probably somebody told me, but I was also tailgating since like 4:30 in the afternoon, so I think I forgot about it. So when it went up, and seeing it live was pretty cool. Seeing it on TV and how the scale of how big it was there. Did you guys get a chance to take a look and see on the field? Like, did it kind of give you any kind of? I mean, it gave me chills, but I'm just a fan, so I don't know what kind of feelings you guys had from it based off of just looking at it. Being coaches.
No, for me, it really covered the whole west end of the bleachers there. It went from top to bottom,
Sure.
And I was amazed. In unison, they got it up and down, and it stayed whole. But I couldn't believe how big it was. It really covered the whole west end of the stand of the BYB, and so it was really impressive. I kind of looked over to my right and kind of noticed even the Carolina players and coaches kind of looking at it, kind of like raising eyebrows. So it was really cool. Like Tim said, it was breathtaking. I anticipated there being something unique there, but that was really magic. It was a lot better and bigger than I thought it would be, and those guys were on their feet, kind of making noise the entire 90 minutes, and the players really fed off of that. So I know we're seeing that in training this week as guys are saying there's something to fight for here. They want to
Sure.
get into the starting lineup and get on the team sheet every week, which makes our job a lot easier, a lot more meaningful as we're pushing them through exercises
Right.
during the week.
Makes for a more challenging practice.
Correct.
And what kind of things are you guys taking from the game on Saturday? And I guess I just kind of want to start just the focus on the game on Saturday. And I'm sure you've been asked ad nauseum about some of the strategies and all that kind of stuff. But I guess one of my questions is, what kind of affected did the emotion of the magnitude of the game, being the first game in Indy, for NASL and for Indy 11, in that grand scheme of things, with as many people as were watching, not only at the stadium but on TV too. I heard the ratings through WNDI were pretty solid.
Good.
And so, what kind of effect did that have, not only on you as coaches, but on the players as well? Did you think that it was a little, viewing it from the stands, it didn't seem too shaky. It didn't seem like there was a lot of like extra hard passes or hard touches because that emotion was really there. But what kind of things were you telling the players before you went out, and maybe even just making adjustments at halftime based off of the emotion of being there, especially after that first goal too? I mean, that was one of the things that definitely got people really going. But what kind of things did you kind of give them advice for going out versus the changes that you made emotionally at halftime?
Yeah, I would definitely say that the emotion side of it, I do agree. It didn't get to them too much. I don't think anyone hit the panic button. You didn't see huge, stress-filled, panic players out there. And the good thing was the opponent kind of matched our style in the sense that they almost evened out in some ways, which was helpful because there wasn't huge tactical adjustments to be made at halftime. And we just kind of asked them to manage when to push forward and when to hold back and make sure that we can make it through 90 minutes because the energy levels did dip toward the end, which is natural this early in the season as fitness levels haven't reached their peak.
Sure.
And, of course, with only 3 substitutions, you have to pick the right guys and the right timing to get them all in. But all in all, I think that they soaked up the emotion side of it and used it to their advantage. And clearly, toward the end, we pushed more than the opponent, and the home crowd is pretty much 100% of the reason. If you don't have that, it's really hard to keep pushing the envelope all the way to what was 93 minutes at the end of it.
Right. And one of the things that I did want to just throw out there, that a gentleman by the name of James Cormick was the one who led the TIFO, like getting that all together. There's a video that we're probably going to post, that the Brickyard Battalion is going to post, of them in a giant warehouse putting it all together. And I think they're going to be, I don't know if there's anything new going to be at this next game, but the next home game afterwards, they're going to have a new one that apparently is going to be even bigger than the first one.
Wow. Well, I know James has been a great supporter. He's been with us from day one, and even through the summer tryouts when we first started, he's always been there and been a great supporter of the club and our staff, so we thank him for that. And I'll just kind of hook on to what Tim said. We got to a point that guys were just ready to play. We had a long preseason, lots of practice games. We had been in IUPUI for a couple weeks training, so there really wasn't kind of the nervous jitters, so to speak of. But what we did try to say and get to the players was, a lot of the feedback that I've gotten is fans want to come see who you are. They don't know who we are yet because we've assembled quite a motley crew of players from all over the world.
Right.
And have just recently brought them all into town finally and gotten them settled. I mean, we even had some late signings going into the week prior to the game that we used. And so we really haven't even had a solid month of training where we've had our group together really working and firing on all cylinders. So there's more to come for Tim and I to figure that out during the weeks here going forward for practice. But we felt like emotionally they were coming out to kind of put a mark on the game and kind of show the fans who they were, what they bring to the table. But I didn't see panic or any kind of fear in their eyes, or really, like Tim said, we pushed all the way to the end, even still looking for chances late in the game to try to win the game.
And kind of touch on that too, in terms of chemistry and even just formation selection. I know that you've mentioned in a couple of interviews that you're kind of a 4-4-2 guy. Is there anything that, based off the players that have been signed, is there any different types of formations that you're going to try to mess with to get that chemistry clicking a little bit faster? And how did some of the late signings affect any kind of chemistry on the field, on the pitch, based off of some new people coming in that were either match ready or fit to play to the point where you were putting them in the starting lineup versus the people that have been around for 2 or 3 months already?
Right. Good question. Obviously, there's certain players like a Cleberson that come in and kind of change the dynamic of the room very quickly. We're trying to be as best we can a very attacking-oriented team, trying to be exciting, moving the ball forward. Not necessarily married to a 4-4-2. I think depending on availability of players and the types of players that we have, we'll look to tweak that from time to time to see how we can maximize, the level of player that we have and fitness levels. Players get injured, suspended, so we have to be flexible a little bit, but pretty happy with the shape that we have now. We came out more in a 4-2-3-1. Obviously we have Ben Spencer away with the U20 national team, so it changed a little bit of the dynamic of what we have available to us up front, so we have to be wary of that. But every player that comes in now that we bring in, has a role on the team in a specific area where we feel we have strengths or weaknesses that we're going to keep trying to improve. So I'll let Tim talk a little bit more. He's got a pretty keen eye on the tactical side as well.
I think Juergen hit it earlier when you talk about when players arrived. Cleberson didn't arrive until his first training session was March 28th. And
then he was in like the exhibition game almost 2 days later, 3 days later.
Correct, and we had played a closed door on his second day that nobody saw, but he was in that one for 45 minutes also, and then I think almost 70 minutes, another 45 in the second half at Chicago, the game at Purdue against Chicago Fire, and then used him again against IU, and then obviously on the opener over the weekend. So that one's a big piece, trying to fit him in and get the group to fit around him. And using A.J. Corrado as a starting player, which is another late signing in the process. He had been in MLS preseason camp, so it wasn't as if he was unfit, but a matter of getting connected with the rest of the group and maximizing every player's ability. Because in the end, tactics can be called multiple numbers, but what everyone's trying to do is maximize their players and their abilities. So we're doing the best we can, working around it. There'll be adjustments. There'll be development. If you give it 2 to 4 games, it's going to get really close to being at its peak.
Sure. And
then hopefully sustain it over the course of the rest of the season.
And based off of performance from Saturday, I obviously don't want you to get in trouble in terms of playing favorites or anything like that, but who are you most impressed with based off the performance from Saturday that you put in there and you were either hoping that they would perform well or you knew that they were going to perform well and performed as expected, and why? I mean, what brought those decisions that came to mind?
Well, the East Stand and the West Stand were pretty good.
Yeah. There's a little Twitter battle going on between those two right now about which section can be louder or more supportive, but no.
Pretty sure the BYD section's probably going to be
they were pretty good. But the East section's good, too, so we'll give them their props, too. They were there
everybody
in force.
Was good. I even walked around through the main stands, and it got pretty loud to the point there, too, where it was just – I kind of had to step back, and that's why I wanted to walk around just to kind of experience everything. Obviously, I was in the madness,
right? But
I wanted to take a moment and walk around a little bit just to kind of see, okay, this is it. And there was times I had the type of experience during the IU game, even though it was very extremely cold. I was enjoying myself, but still, when the ball went up over the skyline, it was just that moment where you're like, "Wow, it's really here." And especially on Saturday when it was full of people and screaming, and after Amber's goal and everything like that, that was that moment where you're like, "Okay, this is really here and it's really happening right now." So, but players-wise, I don't know if you can talk about it, and I'll come back to it unless you're trying to deflect. Who impressed you the most?
We can chip away at that a little bit. It's still like Tim said, it's early.
Right, yeah, of course.
We're 4 games away from really kind of firing on all cylinders and kind of getting the team where we want from a fitness standpoint, from a chemistry standpoint, from just a general football understanding of how people move, how they play the game, and how we can balance and counterbalance each other. For me a little bit, I think earlier on, first 10 minutes, the game was a little hectic. We tried to settle it down. Thought Eric Norella stepped up and did some nice things in the first 10 minutes, really kind of bailed us out of some awkward situations and kind of was a little bit of a physical presence back there, which we kind of needed to settle the group down. Christian Nix made some key saves at moments that you'd expect a goalkeeper of his quality to make.
That one-on-one save that kick save was pretty fantastic.
Right, it was pretty good. He stood his ground and kind of held his space very well, made the save. Even though he wasn't called upon a whole lot, for the rest of the night, so little things like that helped. For me, you look at a Mike Amersley, obviously scored the goal, but he also did a lot of running and closing down of passing lanes defensively. He put a lot of work in and spent a lot of his energy and calories just kind of moving around to help the team defensively. So he kind of stood out for me a little bit on the night with the effort that he put in. You look at some of the younger players like Jaime Frias. I thought he did well defensively, positioning himself, clearing some balls, especially some balls out of the air. He's a very skillful player as well on the ball. Thought he had some nice touches on the night. Walter Ramirez wasn't too bad. He really kind of got himself a little bit higher up the field, which we were hoping for, really running at people at times. And created a little bit of a problem for Jordan Burt there on the left-hand side. So we're glad to see that. And so those are just kind of a few of the names that kind of popped out.
And that was one of the things too is defensively. You guys, the team looked really good defensively. There was a lot of times where you could have been caught out of position, and a lot of guys were either backing up other people or really closing down defensively pretty quickly, which is like you said, Christian didn't have to be called on too much because a lot of the defensive play was blocking it down and cutting off lanes even before the play even happened. Was that a priority for you guys going into the game, or was it just something that naturally happened based off of how the Railhawks were really pressing a little bit harder than maybe you thought they were going to?
I think it's something you actually see daily in training, that kind of last-ditch recovery to help your teammate and make a play. Because breakdowns will happen. They're in every game in the world, from Saturday morning in the Premiership all the way through Sunday night in La Liga. There's just mistakes, and how guys cover for each other really is something that's a weekly occurrence in training, and making sure that they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, because most of the guys get to know each other really well. And so you anticipate certain breakdowns, and
right.
You see Brad Rings and Jaime Frias and Eric Morales as the three central core guys that usually play that role just based on their actual positional status on the field. But Kyle does it, and Chris does it in the back line too, kind of sweeping across and helping, making sure Christian doesn't have too much to do, as you said.
Sure. And in terms of any kind of teams that you're either looking forward to playing already through the season, like when you saw the schedule and you were like, I'm ready for this game or I'm ready for that game, who are the teams that you're really looking forward to playing? And maybe even who are the teams that you're not looking forward to playing? I mean, that could be a two-sided question. That it's just like these guys are scary and they're going to push us, which could be a good thing. But it's still, you look at those teams and you're like, oh man, this is really going to be a good challenge for us.
Yeah, I think for me, I look across the league, and honestly, I'm just looking at the next game, because every game is a great experience for our club, for the players. They're looking forward to each and every match. We have work to do. We got results to get, and each team's a new experience for us. Our first year in the league, and the players have a lot to learn about their opponents, as we do too, as coaches, and the way the league operates. So I think every time, for us, it's the first year in the league. We know we've got a couple years here to build a squad and grow and get better. But it seems like every game that we approach as our next game is the most exciting game for us. There really isn't a team that we look down there. You can maybe say the Cosmos, because they won the league last year, and they're the little bit of the celebrity team in the league. So we know that game's coming later in the in their late spring session. But for us, or for me anyway, I kind of look at every game. The next game's just a great opportunity to get out there and play. I know our guys want to play games now.
Right.
So we approach each week here to prepare the guys to play, not only tactically but physically, just to make sure we're doing the right things, not underworking or overworking, and getting them ready to play the next game. And these guys are fired up to play. They want to play the game. So, for me, it's just whoever our next opponent is, we want to be as good as we can be.
Sure. I mean, and that makes sense. I mean, you got to make sure that you're playing for the game that's coming up next. And what kind of things are you looking forward to this Saturday against I don't know why it just spaced me.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa. Yes, it's been a long day. But yeah, what are you guys looking forward to in terms of playing a game? It's Tampa Bay. They drew, I think, last Saturday. They've been around for a little bit. What kind of things are you using to kind of gauge on what they're going to bring to the table on Saturday? Not to, of course, give away the farm in case they're listening and being like, oh, coach is on. Listen to some strategy here.
Yeah, they can listen. They know what they do. And I think that will be a big difference. You're not going to see the same style that the Railhawks played. You're going to see a slightly different tactical alignment. You're going to see a team that is more direct and more apt to get the ball up the field quickly. And so it'll be a direct style that our players are going to have to handle a little bit of different environment in that way. And the elements always play a role in Central Indiana, so the wind on Saturday was a factor. It died as the game went on, but I think for the first 45 minutes it was a definite factor, and hopefully it's a little bit lighter this week, but that could have a big impact on a direct team.
That's supposed to be like 66, I think, on Saturday.
Perfect.
You're like, sweet.
Well, if it's anything like we had a practice this morning, we had a little bit of sunshine, we had
some snow,
some wind, some snow, some more sunshine, gale force winds again, some rain. It got pretty interesting. So we, like Tim said, the conditions will dictate a little bit, but they're a little bit bigger, more physical team, play a little bit more direct, try to get at you early, get in behind you with long flighted balls. So.
Sure.
Carolina's more of a get the ball on the ground and play, and technically very sound team. So we'll just see a little bit different of a formation and style of play coming in Saturday, and we'll use the rest of this week to prepare these guys to handle some of those challenges when they come.
In terms of basically the response that you guys have gotten. Yes, we know John Kluter, of course. Sitting down.
Of course.
Say hi. Hello.
Of course. Hello. Topeka, Kansas. Hello.
Oh, so are we going to do that now? You're going to be my Larry King?
Nothing but Larry King impersonations from here on out.
And, of course, Guijo is here as well. He's going to sit down here in a second because, you guys are on limited schedule, of course. But in terms of just the coverage that you've gotten based off of the town, and we talked about it the last time that you were with us, you were the new guy back then.
Right.
You were brand new, just in here doing your thing, and now you've had almost an entire year to really soak it in and get that experience and get, guys like John really having the PR machine moving at a pace that I would never have imagined that would be at, because they've done a fantastic job listening to fans and things like that. But in terms of just you being the coach, being the assistant coach, and having that experience there for you, what kind of things have surprised you the most based off the response from the city and media as a whole? And you've played, you've obviously played in a couple MLS teams that have been pretty popular as well, that have maybe a better supporting media presence than Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'd actually argue that. I guess they have a larger base, maybe a couple of newspapers and a little bit more media print, but I would say that the attention given to this team is as strong as many MLS teams, and not only that, but it's supportive, and I think it's looking realistically at the future in a positive way of looking how it's going to continue to grow, and that the future is very bright. You don't get that vibe a lot of times in MLS cities, and I don't want to name them out in particular because I don't want to be rude, but
yeah, but you're not there anymore, so it's okay.
We might see them in U.S. Open Cup, though.
But if they're here, it doesn't matter. Give them the fire, right?
But every city is a little bit different in how they embrace the game, and you've seen the Kansas Cities, the Portlands, the Seattles of the world grow massively, and in our world, in NASL, we hope to be like that, and pushing it to high levels of not only soccer play, but as everything you've mentioned, media and fan support is just fantastic.
Well, and even the attendance comparatively to just the opening days everywhere else, we were, I think, 4,000 more people than the next lowest, which was I think the average about 7,000, 7,000 or 8,000. Even the Cosmos didn't pull as much as we did.
Right.
And obviously it's the inaugural game, but you still have that feel that, it's like you said, it's about the future. And of course these guys are going to talk about that. Guijo and John are here. You can put on the headphones if you'd like to.
What struck me during the opening game was, we talk about season ticket holders and fans and group sales and, people just coming out to the game. From where Tim and I sat, obviously we got a front row seat to the game and get to take in the atmosphere and hear it from all sides. really felt like it was a stadium full of supporters, not just people that bought tickets. Like, people really wanted to be there, have the experience, and support the team. So, and that was very clear from the BYB and what they created there on their feet, the noise they made the entire game. It didn't feel like there was just fans there for an event. It really felt to us like we really have a following and a real supporters group out there that
The passion was there. It wasn't
yeah,
just
really
people
created a
cheering.
unique environment, and so that was a bit special. The players definitely picked up on that. I know we did as well. Just to know that we have a true following here for the team, people that really support the team. It isn't just somebody buying a ticket, coming to the game, and sitting on their hands. We really had people kind of on their feet and made a big difference.
One of the questions that somebody online had using hashtag BYBcast, for those of you wanting to ask any kind of questions to coaches or Guijo and John, because you guys are joining us now as well. Say hello, Guijo. Hi. Tell them
How's
what you
everybody
do.
doing out there? I'm the Community Relations Director for Indy 11.
All right, John.
Greetings. I am John Cluter, the PR Director.
All right, cool. And one of the questions that actually came out was about Ben Spencer. And the question was thoughts on his performance currently with the U20 men's national team and his future with the team. I believe he's supposed to join back up in 2 weeks, I believe is what I heard last. But I'm asking you guys, what's his future of the team? Yeah, there we go. Future on the team, future roles, and what you guys are thinking about his performance so far.
He returns right after Easter because the Dallas Cup finishes on Easter Sunday of next week. So when he returns, we'll introduce him back into training and see how he looks at our level. He's done very well down there. They played back-to-back games. Sunday and Monday, he started and went the distance on Sunday, had 2 goals, including a game winner. And so he did not play on Monday as they introduced almost a completely new squad for that game. And they play tomorrow against Tigres, the final group play before they go, hopefully, to the semifinals. So we'll look and see how he feels when he arrives, because he could be under a little bit of fatigue. Potentially playing 3 matches over the course of a week is a bit demanding, even 4 matches if they make it all the way to the final. We'll wait for that, but we're hoping he continues that type of streak that he started down there.
Keep the hot foot going.
Of course.
Yeah, but one of the big draws for Ben coming back to the States was to be with an organization like ours, an up-and-coming team, opportunity to play on the field, develop his relationship or continue his relationship with U.S. Soccer, and especially the U20 national team as they build for a World Cup next summer. So we're, feeling like we're playing a big role in his future development as an international player. I don't know all that many NASL teams that have current members on any of the U.S. men's national teams.
Right.
So this is just part and parcel of being a professional soccer club. We've got players that play for the national team, and they get called up for international duty, which is great for our club. It's great for the player. And, we'll fold Ben back into the team when he gets back. We wish him the best while he's there. It's great for us, and a great experience for him as a young pro to be playing against teams like Eintracht Frankfurt, and he sat out that game, but River played and scoring 2 goals. I mean, those are meaningful games that will translate on the field for us, too, when he's back. So it's great. We're happy for him, and we have a long season, and he's going to be a big part of what we do when he gets back.
See, now my understanding was he was to score no goals while down there, be impressive, but score no goals so we can get him back early. So I'm figuring he's already in your guys' doghouse, but that may have been rumor. I don't know.
And another question, it's almost like a two-parter. We obviously talked about the response from Indianapolis on having the team here, and obviously you guys hear a lot about it, just being out there with the people all the time. But in terms of what kind of buzz are you hearing across the entire soccer community, across NASL, like other teams and other media outlets talking about Indianapolis as a soccer team, or even other professional teams here for the team? And this could be more of a question for you as well. And what other cities do you think would benefit from having to expansion-wise from NASL based off of your travels and things like that?
That's a big multi-part question
Yeah,
there.
Sorry.
I'll let John tackle the first part about the NASL. And
Yeah, I think a lot of teams were impressed with the build-up, but kind of wanted to see what the payoff was going to look like. And coming out of the gate, 11,000 strong sellout, and not just the fact that it was sold out, the way it looked. I mean, the way it came across.
Yeah.
I just watched the broadcast last night for the first time.
Which they did a good job.
They did an incredible job.
Greg Strong-Howder did a very good job.
I watched MLS broadcasts nonstop for 10 years. That looked like an MLS level, professional grade A broadcast. I mean, from the announcers to the production to the graphics. I mean, it looked top notch. And I think that impression is going to be the first for a lot of people because they've seen the build-up, they've seen the news, they've seen the 7,000 season tickets out. But Saturday was the first chance they really had to see if what we were doing was what we were saying. And I think it came off with a plumb. I mean, it couldn't have gone or looked or been any better. So I think a lot of the feedback's going to come back, in the coming weeks. Proof's going to be in the pudding. Can you do it again on Saturday, and can you do it again down the road? But I think with the job that Juergen and Tim have done to build the roster with like they said, not every NASL team has a national team guy, let alone youth national team guys that can step in and contribute. International guys like Eric Morales and Walter Ramirez, guys who are proven veterans. I mean, that's been a great job, but still part of the build-up. Now that we're on the field and getting it done, I think the impression's only going to get better.
Hey, when we talked last too, when you were on the show back last year, you talked about the buzz that you were getting from players across the world that were asking, hey, can I come try out? Can I find out more about the team? Has that type of thing still increased after the buzz has gotten so big that you've been getting those inquiries from other players across the world, wanting to know more about how I can get here?
I think so. It's still there, and players of all from all different kind of reaches of the globe are still reaching out to us. A lot of the international players from Europe, from Brazil, Africa, especially now that we have a little bit more of an international flavor to our team. We have Central American players, we have Brazilian players, Ben Spencer in Norway, Corby Moore out of the UK. We're starting to get more interest now as those names are starting to kind of get a little bit more active on social media and on the internet wire. Folks see that we have moved into those arenas. We have those types of players on our team, so we continue to get that amount of interest, probably tenfold now as the club's kind of getting built, and especially with the opening of the first game of the season and the support, which was fantastic. Like John said, it was I think we met and exceeded expectations of the league and our fans, and even the visiting team really commented on how special the night was, and it's just a great celebration for soccer on the night, especially here in the state of Indiana that historically has had great college programs, which have been the highest level of play in Indiana for a long time. So it was great to see that on the night, and I know Tim's getting a lot of interest and from other players in U.S. soccer and the national teams, and it's great having a guy like Ben Spencer out there, because when the next U20 national team players may be looking for a place to go and develop and grow and get good coaching and good environment and play real games, hopefully we'll be top of mind for those types of players.
You got to throw that good coaching in there.
Yeah, of course.
And how important do you think the international break is going to be to really improve the team chemistry and have that long span in between the spring season and the fall season to really focus and hone in on chemistry wise? I know you obviously stated that it's going to take 4 to 5 games this part of the season, but what kind of steps are you guys going to take during the World Cup break to really focus on that chemistry between players?
I think one of the initial items we can do during that period is actually physical, and how you can adjust and improve where players sit in that manner. But of course, on the soccer side, you can work specifically on combinations of players and how to improve the way they work together and do it in a different way, because when you have to prepare for a game on Saturday, it limits your ability to train hard. You really have to kind of let off the gas a little bit in the middle of the week, because you have to do it again on Saturday night. And there we'll have a good probably 2.5 to 3 week window where we can really up the intensity.
Just ride them hard.
Essentially. But then they need it, and we'll be able to now, after 9 games, have specific issues that we can really focus on and prepare for the next set of games through the fall.
Another question that I was actually thinking about asking, but I don't know if anybody wanted to know about it, or if you guys even know about it. Using hashtag BYBcast. So Daniel Eccles, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, if you guys know that name. He asked, why was the Railhawks assistant coach dismissed at the half? Does anyone know?
I have a very good idea, but I'm not allowed to use the language.
Now,
This is a PG-13 show, isn't it, Andy?
It's only sponsored by Chatham Taps, and I don't know if you've spent any time at Chatham Tap, but especially on BPL games and La Liga games, there's a lot of not PG-13 language that gets thrown about here.
I think we'll call it dissent and leave it at that.
All right.
Although having the official game report read during the staff meeting this morning was quite entertaining. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, did it actually have the
It had a quote
okay.
from the assistant coach. So yeah, we won't go into details.
Okay.
But
I will say it was like your shirt, a very good use of a 4-letter word, and maybe use it in a variety of ways in one sentence.
very, very Bob Knight-like.
It was
which
like
people of Indiana can appreciate.
It was like the George Carlin speech, right?
Yes.
The many uses
Yes,
of the word.
exactly.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. Which I don't really know what he had to complain about unless he's just very passionate. And I don't know if you guys watched the broadcast, but they took a second to talk to the Railhawks head coach. Which he was apparently was not really too much of a fan of dropping an interview or walking into the half down 1-0.
Having been the one telling him pregame that he had to do the interview was pure joy.
Yeah, right.
It is what it is. Thankfully, Juergen acquiesces to my every need and demand, so I have a much more pleasant experience.
Sure. Is that going to be a regular thing for opposing coaches?
It is.
Do an interview? Since they're sitting in front of you, obviously you guys can talk about what's impressed them about you. What has impressed the front office? What has impressed you about the front office staff in terms of getting it all this? I mean, I don't know if you saw them at the inaugural ball, but they were drained. I could barely talk to this guy. This guy was just like, I'm ready to just party tonight because I can't do this anymore. And you guys work long hours. You've done, the passion for the sport, especially that you guys have, is immeasurable. And to have this come off almost without a hitch, per se. I mean, having that meant, I'm sure there was tons of hitches. I'm not being jaded here or anything like that. But to have it come off without a hitch is something that's thoroughly impressive. And what has impressed you guys the most about, and this is your chance to talk to them about, what has impressed you the most about the front office staff so far up until now? And what can they work on? What do you hate the most about John Kelly?
If there's a couple $100 in this deal, it could get real interesting. No, I think for me, and I'll let Tim speak for himself, it's really the amount of ground covered by these guys, both physically and around the city of Indianapolis and some of the suburban markets in around the city as well. So it's boots on the ground stuff. I know Guizot has done a lot with corporate sponsors and community relations pieces and youth clubs and clinics, and John on the media side, both on print media, social media, over the airwaves, really have covered miles and miles of ground. And I think the entire club and the players especially benefited the most on opening day when they got to see it. Players, our front office staff, really covered a lot of ground with a small army of people. So hats off to them. The kind of rubber did hit the road, and these guys really covered a lot of ground, put a lot of miles down that benefited us, because now as we play teams and we bring teams into our home stadium to play, and I think it's going to make it a lot easier for us at the end of the season, as there's going to be a lot more players wanting to come here, and the choice that we'll have for improvements to the team will be easier to have based on what they've created for us every week to play in.
Of the team going forward that you would like to keep seeing more of? I mean, of just fan interaction based off of for us, for the team, and for you guys.
Well, I would definitely say one compliment to everybody, 11,000 strong on Saturday night, was not only being there, and Juergen mentioned it earlier, not only being there in the stands, but following the game and understanding the game. It wasn't a crowd that was just there to be a part of an event. It was a crowd that wanted to watch a soccer game and that wanted to cheer in the right moments, and didn't get tricked by an offsides where the guy almost scored on their team. It was just silent because everyone was paying attention. And you don't get that in a lot of places in America, where an entire crowd knows exactly what's going on. And so that's fantastic, and it's their energy will continue to push us to greater heights on the field, as each player will try to match what they do and bring their full effort for 90 minutes. And you just can't thank them enough for that type of effort.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I think there was a couple times when the referee made some, there were some 50-50 plays there where our guys were just being aggressive and physical, and maybe in the EPL or Europe that would have just been waved on as just kind of natural play, and I think that's going to be an adjustment for us as well to get used to the referees and what they see as an infringement. But it was great to see our players be aggressive and be physical, and the fans actually booed the referee at times where it was like, are you serious? Did you really call that? As a shoulder to shoulder, that's a fair challenge in a real soccer game. So
officials sitting behind on the BYB stands,
but
they were definitely letting their voice be heard.
The BYB and our supporters, they were tuned in. They knew what a real game looked like, and they were really getting behind the players. And we said it before, that's just going to help us continue to motivate the group and create a great training week for us as we get to the weekend, because they know what's in store. I mean, it's a great environment to be in that situation as a player, to have that kind of support behind you. And we just couldn't thank the supporters enough, and Guizot and John for kind of putting in a hard year worth of work to kind of get it to where it is today, and we just know it's going to get better from here.
And one of the big things, too, that you were actually a part of at the beginning, the pregame part of the broadcast, is educating the non-soccer fan about the game, and you actually had a lot of tweets that you saw about I went to a game or until I heard about you guys, and now I'm ready to watch or ready to learn.
Well, I just want to point out that Juergen's tan in that interview was a lot better than when you got interviewed last summer during the tryouts. I don't know how you do it.
What about my tan?
No, you look the same.
You look the same.
It's my wife's oil of the leg.
You moisturize. It's a lot of moisturizing.
No, but what I saw kind of after the game and some feedback here the last couple of days, it's like season ticket holders, fans are really kind of into the players that we have, like a Brad Ring or an Eric Norales, even position-specific players that really followed them and were well in tune with how good they were at their position. It wasn't just a naive fan that came up and said, oh, who scored the goal or what was the score of the game. They were really talking about individual players and their contribution to the game. So that was kind of fun to see. We had, for me anyway, a lot of feedback on certain players, whether it was a Cleverson, Eric Norales, a Walter Ramirez, a Brad Ring.
We want the fans to educate each other as well. If there's someone, if my mom is sitting in section 107 and she doesn't know what's going on, I expect someone next to her to say, hey, no, that was an offside, or no, that was a bad challenge. They came in from the front and not the side. It's because it's been built from the ground up by the fans, and so because we know that we can't do everything, and we're counting on our fans to help us out and educate not only about our players and what we're doing in the community, but also just about the sport itself. So I think that's going to carry over into helping the novice fan or the uneducated fan who wants to learn more. Just being at a game, learning from each other. I think that's going to be a brilliant part of the experience.
And you would
forward.
I know that I even heard it in the Brickyard Battalion section, where you had somebody that brought someone else that had no idea about soccer, but they just wanted to be a part of that.
I took a call at about 4 o'clock today from a guy I got single game tickets for last week, and called today saying I need to be a part of this. I need to be part of the BYB for the full season, and got 2 season tickets. Like, that's being repeated.
And what are you looking at in terms of attendance-wise for this coming Saturday?
We're
Early estimates.
We've had a very good last 2 days. I think we're trending sellout. It's going to take a little bit of work, but I think we're up for it. I think it's all for every game. For some high demand games, I think that they might be back open for possible sale. We'll kind of gauge it and play it by ear as specific games come along. But I would anticipate being very close or at that 10,285 mark.
Nice.
Did you say the BYB just got over 3,000? Is that right?
On Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah.
I got
just over 3,000 on Twitter. And those seats hold about 2,000 people?
Yep, right around 2,000.
Yeah,
give or
sounded
take.
Like 2,000 people.
it sounded like a hell of a lot more than 2,000 people.
That was another. And greeting people, and just kind of, I know, I understand. It's a little logistically interesting, but one of the Chris, of course, you guys, Chris is ill, so he had. How you like the Pacers and the Colts need to take note. This is how you connect with fans. This is how you get people to really want to be at a game, whether it's the tailgating or whether it's just the experience that you guys give back to the fans. And is there what kind of things do you have planned on in terms of the give back for fans, in terms of connections, and then predictions for Saturday? And then who's going to win the Champions League?
I would say Guizot's done a tremendous amount of work just to create, and Peter as well, just the whole fan experience at the stadium. And it's not just the game. It's, like you mentioned, it's the tailgating and the pregame, the build-up.
It's everything we do. Peter set the tone by the organizational chart starts with the fans, then it's Ursal, and it goes all the way down. Everything we do is about, we're not pushing anything on you. We're asking you to collaborate with us. That's our approach to everything. And I think that empowers people. It has people buy into what we're doing. It gives them a sense of ownership, and that's all we're asking for. We're a very small staff in the front office, and we need everyone's help to get this thing going, and we realize the enormity of it. We want to do it right, and that's how we've approached everything.
You look at the some of the corporate sponsors that we have. A lot of them are local, whether it's the Brewers, and they're available, kind of doing the tailgating piece, food trucks, the different options in the stadium for concessions and merchandise. Game, it's hours and hours before the game, and then we found after the first game people were really sticking around. It was hard to turn the lights out because people didn't want to leave the stadium, and so that was great to see. We had a lot of great support, and I think the tailgating piece is great for our supporters and the BYB folks, because they really did come out in force and kind of make a night of it. So we anticipate seeing more of that going forward, especially as we get into the summer months, where it's be a lot more enjoyable to be outside, good weather, and we noticed coming into the ground. Even we came in early and came out early to warm up some of the guys that we knew wouldn't be involved in the game, and you could kind of feel the buzz in the parking lots all around Carroll Stadium. So we hope that continues throughout the rest of summer.
So before we started, I asked you to come up with a question to ask the listeners, because we're giving away tickets. We got 2 tickets for Saturday that we're giving away, and you can answer with hashtag BYBcast. So I want you guys to come up with a question, and you guys can converse with yourselves.
I got an idea. I'm just going to run with it.
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Do it. Who was the 11th player signed by the club?
All right, so who is the 11th player signed by the club? Use hashtag BYBcast.
I should know this.
Do you not know this?
I've got to do some math. I should know this. Let's see, you got 1 plus 2 plus 4.
So we've kept him. He's kept himself to 1 beer.
No, we're just excited, like we said, for the next game, and we're lucky to have that at home and have our supporters come out and see us again. I know there's a lot of folks away on spring break. Extremely excited to have 2 of the first games of the season at home, which is kind of a unique stretch. So we're looking forward to the game and the continued support from what we saw from last weekend. Players are itching to get back out there, and we noticed that early in training, which you could say maybe would be a little bit lighter in the front end of the week, but guys came out to train today. We had wind and snow and everything else today, and they still journeyed through it, and the training session got better and better as we got towards the end. So No, just looking forward to another great game at home, and getting to see that BYB experience again, and having our supporters turn out.
What about you?
No, I think Juergen said it all there.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. John, one of the questions that actually came to you from Twitter,
Oh Lord, who from who?
from Justin
Okay.
from the BYB. What exactly is John Kluter going to have for dinner tonight?
Pardon?
What is John Kluter going to have for dinner tonight?
If you didn't just hear me mumble outside of the microphone, that's going to be 6 Mile chicken wings, the best chicken wings in the city right here at Chatham Tap. Maybe dabble with some onion rings. I don't know. We're going to play it by ear.
Who knows, right? We actually have a winner, finally.
Oh.
John Thomas Lord, at Lord. What is his Twitter handle?
Like the singer, Lord.
Lord Twerk. But he
Okay, that means you're exempt. Sorry, at Lord Twerk.
he actually guessed,
We will not allow that.
he guessed correctly on the 11th player signed, which was Walter Ramirez.
Ding, ding,
So he won 2 free tickets to the game on Saturday. Lord Twerk, I will get you the information on who to email. You need to email gabe@brickyardbattalion.com to get your tickets so that you can go to the game on Saturday. Be apparently almost sold out.
Well done, Lord Twerk. They'll say that. They'll say it's almost sold out. We got a little work to do.
We expect
can
them to
buy
sign
your
up for the
tickets
gold
at
membership at BYB as
Indy11.com.
well.
There's tons of tickets left, so you guys can
No,
go to.
there's just enough tickets left for you if you're
Obviously,
listening.
I don't. Out of your busy schedules, of course, to come on, especially for you to come on back again. We had so much fun with you last time. And obviously, Alex isn't here, so we did trade him for the bag of balls and 2 cones that you said that we would trade. Who was born in the U.S., whose dad served in the military for the U.S., but still roots for Brazil. Regardless, even if Brazil and the U.S. were playing each other, he would root for Brazil. And we said, what would you do with some guy like that? And he said he would trade him for a bag of balls and 2 cones.
We probably would still take that deal right now if we had
You guys
Another
need
Cones.
another bag of Voits. We take that.
and some dirty pennies, apparently. Popper added that at the end, too. He's making sure that he's got some dirty pennies on there. What has impressed you guys the most about the feedback?
Well, Peter covered this in the staff meeting today, that everyone's been coming up to us and saying, you guys did a great job. We had a great time. And then it's a very nice way of saying, but you can improve here, here, here. But it all comes from a very good place. And I guess that's that Hoosier hospitality. Everyone's been very, very patient with us, excited for us to be here. Everyone had a great time at the game. And I think they just want to see us succeed. So everyone's been really, really supportive in that way. And that's why we want to give the best experience that we can this coming game and improve on what we can from last one. So we have a lot of work to do, and we'll do it. We'll get it done.
What kind of things do you guys have coming up, like community events and things to give back? Because I know that you guys did the big goals for Indy.
Big goals for Indy Initiative we had on March 15th. That's right, that we partnered with Gorilla. We were in 100 different locations around the city having these small-sided games with the goals and the balls donated by Voight and T-shirts that we're giving out. We don't have any huge initiative like that coming up necessarily in the next 2 weeks. With this game coming up on Saturday, the team being away, of auctions and things like that. It's not until the summer when the World Cup kicks off, we'll be doing a lot of World Cup viewing parties
Oh, that's cool.
and doing a lot of engagement that way, supporting the World Cup while the team.
You realize who they've been playing,
They
right?
don't have anybody to play for in the league.
Right. They
They
haven't
already
been.
clinched the league.
Yeah, they've been playing like reserves during the
Exactly.
A lot
So
of rest though.
that's what I mean. There's a lot of rust.
league.
Fresh on Wednesday.
But Atletico Madrid is a scary, scary team.
Yeah.
I mean, they knocked out Barca. We haven't beaten them this year. And then Mourinho, though, when it comes to knockout tournaments, he gets it done.
Yeah, but everybody thinks that he's like the end all be all.
Well, he was our coach last year, and I don't feel that way. But he knows how to get things done. So we'll see.
What about you guys?
I didn't really answer that question.
Tough to go.
You can't. You can't feel like you don't want to root for your yeah. I get.
I couldn't vote against Bayern Munich. It's just
Yeah.
too hard.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
They're good.
Coach,
That would be my favorite.
Yeah.
Going back to my German roots. So,
Juergen
they
Sommer's
have a lot of
German
talent.
man?
They're just a well-balanced team from front to back, left to right, and so many different threats, whether on the ground, in the air. They're always going to be a force to be reckoned with. And, having had the success that they've had as a team in the league, they got some seasoned veterans. They know how to win the big game, so it's definitely in their favor.
About yourself.
To be honest, I don't watch a lot of European football. I'm an American soccer snob.
Oh, okay.
But I'll tell you who I want to win would be Atletico, because I'm an underdog type of guy.
Yeah.
And I want to see Guijo suffer
Oh,
a fair amount of misery over the next month. So
How about World Cup wise? I mean, obviously we
Thanks,
talked
Chuck.
about the World Cup. We talked about World Cup break, and it's a little ways away. But who are your guys' favorites to win?
The U.S. Who
Okay,
else?
I understand that, and obviously we would all love that. And ESPN has a great commercial right now. I don't know.
Even for the top teams,
Yeah, that's
the
true.
draws could beat you up a little bit going over the course of 6 games. So, yeah, it's a tough one.
It's tough. I'm going to reserve judgment a little bit until we get through the first round. You get to see some teams put their hair down a little bit.
Sure.
It's really hard to say until you get really through that first round. You can kind of see teams and assess their quality, and as you get in the second round, then it's easier. It gets into focus a little bit easier at that point. It's knowing the groupings, especially our group. A lot of it will determine on the first 2 games. Really, it kind of sets you up, kind of getting through into the second round. So
Maybe an easier question of
well, what I think a lot of people are forgetting is
this thing. I'm just trying to
know
to
in
spark
the-
some conversation.
I know in the order of I think they'll be ready for
good
it.
point.
I'm picking Germany.
Yours coming out already. Germany done.
The first European team to win a World Cup on South American soil.
Ooh, bold statement.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, and I know the expectations of our team of Indy 11. Your guys' expectation, you want to finish top of table. You want to finish. I mean, you guys obviously want to we've had a successful season, we've had a successful game, and you know that you can actually look back and go, okay, this was good. This is where we expected to be.
You know, I'll start the first piece of this. Good question, but I think we've already come off to a good start. And you look at our season ticket base. You know, we're already committed with 7,000 plus season ticket holders, and then probably then a few more as they're opening some seats and maybe creating some room for some more season ticket holders. So getting the franchise out, I think we Ursal created a fantastic brand when you look at the logo and everything that went into the thought and the process, and you know, how meaningful that is to the city of Indianapolis, the history of soccer in the state of Indiana, and then the historical value. So I think we're off to a great start with the brand, the franchise, the supporters that we've created, the Brickyard Battalion, their commitment and contribution to the club. But we still are a first-year pro soccer team, whether it's the NASL or any franchise, and all the little things that we need. I know John has things he needs with his role, and Guijo has more things he needs. But I think we're off to a great start with where we are, and Tim and I will look to continue to build a quality team even through the year, going into next year. So we never stop having those conversations between ourselves and the rest of our staff. You know, keep the expectation where it is. We're year one. We're week one of the season. So it's a challenging environment, and as long as we continue to find quality players and get better during the course of this year and be competitive, and we'll be quite happy. And I think we're well off to a good start there.
And that's also not a bad thing to be able to pick up that kind of talent based off of success here.
Right.
You know, I know that your success, like what's your guys' gauge? Like, where do you guys gauge success of the team?
How do we gauge success of the team?
Yes, the front office. How does the front office gauge success of the team versus how? I mean, obviously there's going to be performance based, in terms of just how they play and what they're looking at on the pitch every game. What does the front office view success as in terms of maybe even just the team performance or fan performance?
It's twofold. It's giving the fans the best experience possible every game, without question. Like Peter says, it's everything from the moment you pull into the parking lot, how long it takes you to get into the parking lot, from the moment you leave the building, and everything in between. It's, how are the concession lines doing? Are the bathrooms clean and or crowded, or are there lines for the bathrooms as well? It's funny, we were talking about there were lines for concessions. They're formidable, as Dave Siskowski mentioned in his article on 11 Bricks. There were lines for merchandise, and there were some logistical issues tied in with both of those. But there were no long lines for the bathrooms, and if there's going to be an absence of lines for one thing, that's really the one. To make a better customer experience, night on Saturday for everyone else, for everyone who comes on down. We hope they'll see market improvement in a lot of areas, but that's the back rather than saying, well, the game was all right, the play on the field was good, but I don't know, everything else was kind of a hassle.
I don't know if I want to come back.
Right. We can't have that. That's the death knell for a team like
you guys
us.
just
So,
released a almost pressed
Right.
statement from
And
Peter that
that's-
just said, "Hey, this
and
is
that
what
was-
we've here."
that was in the works, honestly, from our folks at our partners at Levy on Saturday night. They had written a detailed email about the changes that could be made and could be affected in time for next Saturday's game. So we want to give them a great amount of credit for realizing what changes that need to be made and working with us. And we had great conversations with them, main event and ESG over the last 48 hours. And now we have a plan in place to make the experience better, and to get that out early in the week, I think is pivotal. We got I put that out at 7 o'clock. Gotten a ton of great feedback from
Yeah.
fans already, just in 2 or
Us
3
included.
hours
When we
about
read it, we were like, "Holy crap."
we need to show that we care about the experience from front to back. From a success on the field standpoint, of course we would like 3 points out of the gate every night, night in, night out. Having been around the team during the building process and the preseason, still bringing guys in who are going to be big contributors a week out, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. These guys need time to gel. So from a front office standpoint, we can't go out and demand from Tim and Juergen that we win nail and start rickrolling teams. It's unrealistic. But sorry,
That's great.
I want you to rickroll the stadium on Saturday.
I'm never going to give it up.
I want to
Andy.
hear it. I
I'm
want to
never
hear it
gonna
at
let you down.
halftime. I want them to play it, or just give lyrics to the PA announcer and have everybody just get rickrolled at halftime.
It's my worst nightmare. But we want to see the guys be competitive.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see from front office standpoint, and we've already seen that. I'll tell you what, from just the first day I was out in Arizona, I joined about 3 days in, to the last day in about 10 days, to see the improvement during that first training camp of just even the small group at that point of guys, mixed in with trialists and guest players. You could tell they were already starting to find a rhythm by the end of that Arizona trip and kind of finding their way with each other. And it continued in Florida. It continued in the preseason games we had up here against Louisville and IU. You could tell it was a group that was coming together really quickly and impressively. So all we could hope for is a team that's going to compete and give the effort that fans deserve, and that is not a question. That is already happening. The results will come from that. And the play will get better. It'll get more cohesive. Guys will learn each other's tendencies more, and it'll become a better product on the field as we move along. But to be this far along in the process, it is wildly impressive for me. I might be a bit biased, but I've seen a lot of teams get thrown together, and they're.
Go ahead.
I didn't watch the broadcast. Obviously, we were working on game day. I didn't watch it till last night. It's ridiculous. It was amazing to see our team and our guys feel like they've already gelled somewhat. And I know there's a lot more to come, but
Well, even the broadcast itself,
everything.
like he was saying, was they connected to it. So that was definitely one of the good things. You guys cutting out?
Yeah, we're checking out.
It's fine.
We got to go get ready for training tomorrow.
You guys got like some important job or something going on, or like something important on Saturday too.
I
I
feel like
guess.
calling Kaluter out for a couple wind sprints after he eats about 6 of those wings. Should be.
You want to see the aftermath.
We do want to see the
Make sure
aftermath.
you run in front of the guy.
Pretty sure there's video somewhere about a 2-mile run that's scheduled.
I believe I still have a beep test promise
That
to
was a
you
beep
guys.
test. That's correct.
Yes.
It was a beep test. You're right.
I want to see those. Can we post those
Tomorrow
on
morning could be the
11's
morning.
Twitter?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Good.
And thank you
Gentlemen.
very
And you can move over there if you'd like to, because I've got questions for you guys as well.
Great.
Great. I got more Real Madrid questions for you, Guijo.
Answer them all day long.
Oh yeah, yep. Shake some hands. You guys be safe going home. The last time we were in a bar together, I got my I was in a bar with you, John, and Coach, as I got credit cards mixed up.
That's right. That's right.
Completely forgot about that.
So lucky I didn't run that.
Yeah, oh man. Throw those headphones on. But I guess one of the things too, obviously you've been in the business for a while. Like what's your? I guess for those who don't know, what's your background? Because you obviously
Been doing this for way too long. I'll tell you that.
Well, you've got all the back office folks that don't get other than Peter and of course Molly Kruger, which everybody knows Molly Kruger. You can't go anywhere without Molly Kruger's name somehow popping up.
In a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
A good way. We want to reassure
I don't know.
of this.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
I've heard some interesting
Come on
things. But anyway.
Heart of gold. Heart of gold.
It's true. Did you watch your interview with us from the ball, by the way, that we posted?
Not yet.
Oh.
I've been holding off on that.
We've got it posted.
I saw.
Okay.
I haven't seen, but I saw.
But your background, sir.
My background is after 5.5 glorious years at Indiana University and watching the Dima Kovalenko, Yuri Lavrenyenko, Alexei Karol era, Nick Garcia, those guys roll through. I begged DC United enough that they gave me an internship writing for their website, and went from the journalism side to the dark side of PR while interning there. And then luckily Peter Wilt was dumb enough to give me my first job with the Chicago Fire back in 2003. There starting in 2007, and then got burned out, took a year off, got in touch with Peter a couple summers ago and asked him what he was doing. He said, hey, it might be starting to team up in Indianapolis might be one of the things that's happening. I said, well, I'm done with sports, but if you need a PR guy, let me know.
Right.
Funny enough, I'm back here building professional soccer in my home state, so it's been
Where he belongs.
Sad but true. No, it's been a ridiculously rewarding experience.
Sure, and you guys have done a great job. So, I mean,
We tried.
and that's one of the things I even talked to you last time too, kind of off mic, was the support that not only you guys have given us. I mean, obviously it's a little biased because you've given us pretty carte blanche about everything in terms of Indy 11. You've given us players, you've given us coaches, Peter, retweets and promotions on the website and things like that. And obviously we couldn't be more, and I'll speak for Chris as well, we couldn't be more thankful for what you've done for us, especially obviously the Brickyard Battalion, giving the pup from them of just the collaboration between the two.
It's the philosophy. It's the ground-up, grassroots philosophy, and I had the same philosophy when I was in Salt Lake City and Chicago. If people are interested in our club and they want to cover our club, who the hell am I to say no? You can't come in and get a credential and cover the match from the press box, or you can't interview this guy or that guy. Yes, there are. You got to take a chance and get guys to outlets you might not be familiar with. I didn't know you from Job the first time I met you, but you guys expressed what you were doing and you did it in a positive and intelligent fashion, and we'll give you guys a chance. Whether you're the Indianapolis Star or the Corridon Times or whatever, we don't care.
Sure.
If you want to talk to our guys, then we'll get you our guys. We want the coverage. We think we hope we warrant the coverage, and it makes no sense to turn down relevant requests at any turn, especially in our position when you're a startup and you're trying to build buzz, not just in the quite frankly.
You'll just let yourself out to anybody.
By all means.
And the B-Town Brickers, by the way, said that has
The
made
funny
their night.
thing is I can't stand Rick Astley. I just can't stand him.
Gijo, what's your background? How'd you get here?
Came to Indiana in 2006. My ex accepted a job at the Paul. She was an art history professor.
You mean you moved here because of a girl?
I did move here because of a
No
girl.
one ever does that.
Never.
Okay.
So that was a good 8 years ago. I was 2 years in Greencastle and then decided to, Indiana appealed to me in some way that I wasn't really clear about, but
Right.
I wanted to stick around and had a couple jobs in Indianapolis. Was Angie's List, International School, and then I started teaching language on my own, French and Spanish, and then when I heard the team was coming, I really wanted to be involved. I mean, I'm from New York originally, grew up in Europe, in Switzerland. I grew up there from 4 to 12, so that was the first sport that I played, and I fell in love with it as a kid. And then when I moved back here, that I was the guy for the job, and he gave in, I guess, and gave me the position. So I feel very fortunate to be in this position, and I hope it shows in the work we do. That we all feel fortunate to be leading the charge in pro Indiana soccer here.
And John, I mean, I'm not gonna have you.
Pardon me while I
No, you're
chomp
sorry.
on
You're
my
eating.
chicken
It's fine.
wings there. I'll try to keep it out.
No,
Mike.
explanatory across most teams, and regardless of the sport. Gijo, your role is a little bit more interesting.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, man.
No,
See,
I meant
see where this is
I
at.
meant interesting in terms of it's not concrete.
Quantifiable.
Yeah, it's not concretely defined or quantifiable is a good word for it. And so explain a little bit of what your role is with Indy 11 in terms of being.
Want to be accessible to the whole state, and we want to connect with everybody. I think when we announced the team coming here, there's a very strong soccer community in the northern part of Indianapolis, and it's kind of been strong here for a long time. But in other parts of the city, the Indy metro area, downtown specifically, there's a lot of opportunity for the game to grow, especially underserved communities. So I really wanted to address that kind of thirst for the game that already exists. It's a very international community downtown. On the west side of town, there's very strong Hispanic Latino community. On the east side, there's African and Southeast Asian. We really made an effort to start to connect with those communities. We still have a lot of work to do, but the game that we are involved in, soccer, is the most inclusive in my mind, and that's why we go with the tagline, "The world's game, Indiana's team." We really want to take that mantra to heart. We want to offer that game to everybody. Goals for India is one example. Another example is the futsal initiative that we're looking to roll out. If people aren't familiar with futsal, and if you listen to the program, chances are you do know what that means. But for those who don't, futsal is basically soccer played with less people on in a smaller space. In this case, we're looking to have futsal courts, outdoor courts, all over the city, 11 of them. And that would help promote, obviously, the game of soccer throughout the city. But those people who are playing, that helps increase your technical ability. So we're just trying to develop more soccer players and more interest. And that's just one aspect of my position. And
Now, isn't there a plan to build a futsal field?
there is, and right now
Where?
we're working on that.
Okay.
We're working with Indy Parks and Rec on finding a good location for our initial field. And then, like I said, the idea is to have 11 of these all over the city, long term. But still got to find that first one, and we've been able to focus on that. But we will be
Really?
meeting, a little
Something,
bit,
something going on?
a little something,
A little something.
a little something.
In terms of the also, and obviously, The ball went off very swimmingly.
Molly Kruger
Yes.
led that effort, and she did a fantastic
Masterful
job.
job.
Masterful job.
Location,
It was a great
anyway.
location at the Lara IndyCar Factory, for those who didn't know, and everything from finding the DJ to the decorations. Molly Kruger, lucky to have her.
And she's the perfect lady for the job too.
She is. She
I mean,
is.
she fits. I mean, and then that's one of the things that I think he and Ursal and everybody has hired people into the front office. I mean, you fit your role. John fits his role. Molly fits her role. Mike fits his role. Everybody in there is perfect for that role.
And having experienced this in Chicago, and this may sound a little self-aggrandizing because I'm part of the staff, but nobody puts together a better staff than Peter will.
Sure.
Because he brings together people with different experience, different backgrounds, but more importantly, he brings together people that will work for each other. And especially when you have as small a staff as we do, that just means the world. It means everything. The interaction in our office is the most comfortable work environment I've been in 12 years, and it's a testament to the type of character that Peter. He just seems to have a knack for just bringing the right people into right roles, and like I said, when you have a front office of 15, and it's not just the full-time people that we want to bring on board as well, and our interns do just yeoman's work, just more work than any intern ever should do, and they do a bang-up job, all of them.
But they get that experience, though.
Oh,
That's
it's
the whole point of
incredible
it.
experience. And it really is a testament to the type of just be kind of his right hand man. I was talking with Guijo on the way up here. I'm like, I don't know how he stays as organized as he does with as many moving parts as there are, every single day. Tom's out there dealing with seemingly every single organization we talk to or have involvement with. Tom is there.
Somehow manages to keep his inbox at like 5 unread.
Yeah, that bastard.
It's disgusting.
I can't stand it.
It's disgusting.
My inbox is about to
Explode. Guy likes
like
email.
A black hole.
Guy likes email.
It's ridiculous.
Fast typer.
Well, and
I
it's
mean, from top to bottom, he just has. They brought in just wonderful people with knowledge of Indianapolis, people with knowledge of the soccer industry, people who've been in sports for 30 years, people who are getting their first job in sports. He's just found the right mix to keep it where it's knowledgeable, it's fresh, there's new ideas, there's marvelous mix that we're just fortunate to have.
And I think that's one of the big things too. What Tim touched on. Billy Joel.
So-
For the team and for the city directly affects the fans that actually come to the game.
That's a common thread between the staff. I mean, like you said, we have varied experience levels and just perspectives, but the passion we all bring to the table every single day. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't really all believe in many aspects of what we're doing.
And I think there's a certain magic involved too, because guys like Juergen,
Yeah.
he was just sitting around in Carmel for a number of years, finding coaching gigs on the side,
Sure.
doing something else,
Playing
primarily,
indoor, just playing
but-
some indoor here and there.
Right. Just people who made it, who's
Sure.
an assistant coach in the U.S. soccer system, like Juergen was as well. I mean, he has a wife from the Indianapolis area. Go figure.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Shocker.
I mean, it's just wild to think that, there's got to be something else to it almost. There's like this cosmic sense that is sucking all these people into this vortex that is Indy 11 and making it happen.
It was meant to be.
And honestly, we feed off the energy that the Brickyard Battalion and all the fans have had since day one. So we know we're coming together and doing everything we can as a staff to make sure there's great experiences and a team that the city would be proud of on and off the field. But we're all doing it for them. All this is nothing without the fans. And to come out and see the payoff on Saturday night, I mean, we knew it was going to be good. We knew it was going to be fantastic, but I don't.
Super high.
Sky high.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, just talking to you, obviously the expectations for Saturday's game were way up here, and the fact that it went even higher was amazing
This
for
is
me.
all we've been working towards since we started.
Nice to see the payoff.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, exactly.
It was incredible.
Yeah, and obviously, if you guys have stuck with the YouTube, we've been having some issues with the YouTube connection. I don't know what YouTube's doing right now, but if you're sticking with us, we have a couple more minutes here with Gijo and John. If you have any questions, use the hashtag BYBcast. One of the questions that somebody did have was, is there any plans of starting tailgating earlier than 4:30?
I don't believe so. It's just a policy we have at the university about when we take over the lots.
Sure.
So, unfortunately not.
Logistically,
I mean, it's
it's a
fantastic
problem.
that people want to tailgate.
All right.
Starting at 8:30 in the morning. You guys
Well,
will
of
probably be out
course,
there.
yeah.
I
wouldn't be.
I
but-
remember trying to tailgate all night when I was a student down at IU for one of the IU OSU football games.
Mhm.
And my buddies and I showed up there at 7:30 the night before, even though we got, we asked the IUPUD the night earlier that day, and they're like, no, you can't tailgate all night. We're like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
And we went up there and tried to do it anyway.
There we go.
But, so I appreciate the passion of that.
Sure.
But unfortunately, there's not much we can do about that. So it's got to be one slot's open at 4:30 is when the tailgating shall commence.
Andy, you asked me about community relations and the different.
Yeah.
We're always trying to outreach to different demographics, and one of the projects that we're working on, and really, really closely with the BYB, Josh Mason, who you know pretty well, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yes.
Josh Mason's usually here.
There you go.
Intimately familiar? Is that too close?
We might have spooned a couple of times.
That's precious.
It's precious. He talked about that. I didn't want to bring it up though.
But no, he's usually here. He had some prior engagements, so it's just me. But anyway, he's usually here running the social media side of the things,
Gotcha.
and apparently was drunk enough to select us, Chris and I, to select us to be
step
the
in.
voice of the Brickyard Battalion.
Big mistake, Josh.
That's what I was saying.
Huge.
That's what I'm saying. But apparently we're here
Huge.
and we're doing our thing.
But you've been working on this foot golf initiative, so we're just trying to find more ways to engage communities that traditionally don't want to, have a tie to soccer. But here, it's using soccer as a draw to get people on the golf course and vice versa. It's like a cross-pollinating kind of situation.
Is foot golf exactly what it sounds like?
It's exactly what it sounds like, and you should look it up. It
Like
looks.
Frisbee golf, but different.
I will do that.
You should check it out. But
And the head of the PGA.
head of the
stoked
PGA,
about this.
Ted Bishop, gave me a call a couple months ago, and Josh has kind of picked up the baton and ran with it, and looks like planning is underway for an event on June 21st. So you asked me what kind of events are coming up that are different. That's one of them. So keep
Where's
checking
that
our
gonna be
website.
at?
Believe it's going to be at the Legends Golf Course.
Okay.
But again, planning is in its
Bring your
infancy
cleats.
right
We're
now.
going to tear up some nice turf land.
Check out the uniforms.
We're going to divot the heck out of that
We're,
place.
we're going to run on the green, which you're not supposed to
Just
do.
remember,
Pretty
replace
fired
your
up.
divots, please.
Yes, replace your divots, please. But and that's those are the weird things that are and one of the things I actually wanted to ask was the scarf that you brought in. You brought in the was it the dual team?
Yep.
game for Saturday.
Correct.
You can go ahead and hold it up for the folks watching here.
Where's the camera at? Are they watching? Oh, they're watching me.
They're watching
eat.
you eat. It's okay.
That's fantastic.
Somebody also
Great.
commented on
Peace out.
Gijo's delicious-looking burger and handcuffs.
Smoking black and blue with
and
onion rings.
those things are handcuffs. They are onion rings. Lower, buddy. Right down here.
Right here, right here, right here, right here. Right here.
There you go. So you got the Railhawks. You got an 11.
I was about to Lindy it.
Yes, it's true.
Boom, 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 boom.
But what kind of scarves are currently available right now?
Currently available, we got the checkers, we got the skylines, we got the people scarves. Actually, I'm not sure what. I know the inaugural scarf sold out in a hurry on Saturday night. So
Right.
the other three, I believe, should still be available. I actually haven't got the update from the merch guy, Brad, yet. So
Who makes the scarves?
next scarves, I believe it's a company out of Poland. We used one of Tom Dunmore's contacts up with Section 8 Chicago,
Okay.
Marching. Who know some people back in the homeland. So
Did you see one of the AO indie scarves is on that ESPN commercial?
I didn't.
At the very beginning, a guy's walking in a crowd and he's holding up one of the American Outlaws Indianapolis
That's awesome.
scarves that's on there too. I think those scarves are made by Roughneck.
Yeah, we definitely don't use Roughneck.
Yeah. I'm
trying to work some contacts at ESPN to get us to be one of the official USA Watch Party host cities.
Oh,
for
nice.
One of the World Cup games.
Is that
So
an
something we gotta
exclusive
work
that
on.
nobody knows really about yet?
It's been murmured.
Okay.
I think a little bit, but
Now
I don't want
officially,
to promise anything, but
Yeah.
we got a lot of work to do on it. But that would be something that
that would be great.
come World Cup time. I mean, can you imagine? How
Would
many
you do that
thousands
at
of
Carroll
people-
Stadium or where would you
No,
do
I
that?
don't believe so. Just there would be some options. We were hoping to do one for the USA Mexico game, qualified back in September at City Market.
Okay.
Just couldn't get the clearance and from
Union Jacks was
ESPN at that
packed,
point.
by the
Union
way.
Jacks was
I mean,
ridiculous.
yes. I think we were both there at
Yes.
that
Yes.
night. Drinking copious amounts of alcohol.
Right, but I think we would need a bigger boat
Yes,
than
I
the
think
City
so,
Market
too.
Plaza if we could pull off one of these USA World Cup games. So,
Indianapolis has a lot of great venues for that, so we've been exploring them for the last couple of months.
Wouldn't it be cool to have something at the lawn? Like put a screen up at the lawn at the White River Gardens and put a screen up there and have people watch, because that's an outdoor venue. You can have a lot of people there that are watching it.
Speaking of the lawn, we're working with
Uh-oh.
Big Car, which is another
Segue.
community organization
Seamless.
in downtown Indianapolis.
I need you to eat that microphone, Joe.
Okay. In
Eat
the
'em while you're
summer,
eating those onion rings. Come on,
they're delicious, by the way.
jump in
Yes.
there.
Chatham Taps on hearings.
Mid-May or late May, we're going to roll out this adult rec soccer league, and the idea behind that is pitting 10 neighborhoods against each other, and see who's the best neighborhood team. Those games are going to be played
Really
at
cool.
White River State Park, right in front of NCAA. So there's
Is there
going to
gonna
be
be a
every
trophy involved?
Wednesday trophy presentation of the winner at one of our home games, possibly playing the final at our stadium
Ooh.
before one of our home games. So this will be pretty cool. Flat 12 is one of our
Shout out to
sponsors,
Flat
obviously.
12.
Shout out to Flat 12. They've been an incredible partner from day
Really have.
one, even before
Great people.
before we
people.
signed on officially with them. They were helping us out a lot, and they're just incredible. So
It's a very good segue for me, actually, because Flat 12 supplied the free alcohol for us at the Brickyard Battalion tent during tailgating.
Nice.
So there
Good
was
for you.
there
the
was
Hinchtown. Have you tried the Hinchtown yet?
yeah, there was there.
Fantastic.
That was there. One of the things too that was big with that we're doing right now is we're going to be making cups, Brickyard Battalion cups. So
Nice.
it's going to have the Brickyard Battalion
Like
logo
stadium
on
cups?
one side. No, just for tailgating.
Oh.
So for tailgating, we're going to have Brickyard Battalion cups on one side. I'm trying to look here to see where it's at. But we're going to have Brickyard Battalion on one side, Flat 12 logo on the other. There's going to be a suggested donation of $5 per cup. Now, there's going to be only a limited amount of these, so about 1,000 stadium cups. So it's got BYB on one side, Flat 12 on the other. We'll be able to use it at the tailgate. Sorry, but that way, when you're coming up, you're getting carded, you're getting your wristband for having that beer. Basically, you're paying for the cups, and then the beer the rest of the night's free.
now I got some food in me. The segue is going to keep coming fast and furious. You're talking about $5.
Yes.
We had a recently last week during soccer
I like
week.
it.
We had
Keep eating.
a bar crawl.
Okay.
We partnered up with the Cultural Trail and I'm going to bring up the futsal initiative again, but basically we want to highlight certain bars on the cultural trail downtown. We had our initial bar crawl, which involved Thomason Tap Room in the City Market, the Front Page, and then Chatham, and we're going to rotate through different bars that are on the cultural trail. But it's $5 to get in, so we're going to have more of these during the season. So $5 goes to benefit the cultural trail, and and the other half. Sorry, you pay $5 to get in.
$2.50.
$2.50 goes to the cultural trail, and $2.50 goes to the futsal initiative. So you're drinking, you're contributing to the community, your local community. It's all good. So come out to the next one, be on the lookout.
That's a win-win-win.
I did want to throw out there that we did it wasn't free, Flat 12. We did pay for it, but we supplied it for free to people that were coming up to us.
That's a legal disclaimer.
I think because Mason works for a liquor company, that he's like it's not free.
You got a text.
It's never free. I did get a text. I got a probationary text from Mason that just says, "Hey, guess what?" But no, yeah, if he was here, he would. Yes, nothing is free. So I mean, we're gonna kind of wrap up here. It's been a longer podcast than you guys want to eat. But what kind of things do you guys want to see going forward in terms of fan interaction and any kind of community? Like, how do they reach out to you? Of course, if they want to do something within the community in terms of maybe their place of business or whatever organization they're a part of, how do they get in touch with you if they're wanting to do that? Or are you just going to call them eventually?
685-1100 is our office line.
Okay.
We've been getting a lot of calls for sales for tickets, but of course they can call anytime if they have any questions. My extension is 181. Or my email address, Guijo, so that's spelled GUY-JO @indie11.com.
How was that not taken?
Right.
I know.
Shocking.
I had to fight a lot of people for that.
We had to kill the first Guijo to get that one.
And your Twitter account. What's your Twitter account as well?
It's
impossible to decipher.
Le Chinois Cubain. That's my little French background there coming out. It's LECHINOISCUBAIN.
Okay.
I know.
It's all right. It'll be on MP3. They can rewind it.
There you go. But that's, those are the ways to get in touch. We like to think of ourselves as hyper accessible. There are a lot of requests that come through our offices each day, so you might not get a prompt response every single time, but we always get back with you, and we obviously realize the value in serving the community and being as accessible as possible. So
we ask that you follow up persistently because
yes.
You've got stuff to do.
Well,
you've got stuff on your plate.
I mean,
everyone's got stuff to do.
True, but I mean, we are getting a ton of requests, so it takes a while to cycle through them and get back. It's the best problem to have. For sure. And if we don't respond to you promptly, it's not because we're not interested. It's because we're trying to get to everyone, but they're just trying to get through the orders. So it's no slight against you or your organization. Rest assured, we'll be getting to it. But we do preach patience at this point in the operation, just because now there's game days to look forward to, and that's just a whole different beast when you're as far as the staff to deal with. So.
Do you guys get a chance to just enjoy the game?
Well, at the staff meeting this morning, Peter asked, what was your moment? We didn't get to sit and watch the game. Any of us. Well, John did because in the press box.
Wow.
Story.
Wow.
Oh!
Just lounging up, business dog kicking the bags up,
drinking some beer, just watching the game like a normal fan.
I didn't get a chance to watch much of the game, but the one moment that sticks out really was the first goal when it was scored, and the reaction of everyone around me. Like it was incredible. I got goosebumps because everybody celebrated. They saw the significance of, obviously scoring our first goal, scoring first, and I feel like that goal's been coming for how long? A year. I mean, we waited a year for it, and it was just like a huge release and excitement. And okay, all right, we're here. Didn't matter. And obviously, we would have preferred the win, but people are fired up, and we want to give them what they want. And that's what we're working for.
I will say my head is buried in my laptop or my phone for about 75% of the match, but my moment was right at kickoff. I hopped outside the press box and did a good shot of the opening kick for our Twitter feed.
Right.
and I run into two of my old interns from last summer who were there kind of at the start, Alden Woods and Ben Simmons.
What?
And they're both on their phones getting the same shot, and just kind of look over at them to see the geeked look on their faces. It's like, it was really cool to have two guys who were in at the ground level and getting some great experience with the organization, and now are branching out. Ben wrote just a ridiculously great article on the birth of the club in the first game for SoccerLeague.com, and Alden spinning off into an internship at Sporting Kansas City this summer. Has done great stuff for the IDS down in Bloomington. So to have those two guys be there, and be a part of game day, have them come back was the most rewarding part for me personally for Saturday.
And you bring up two of the interns that work with you, and we didn't mention by name the interns who are with us now.
Sure.
Because they're not mentioned on our website, so I want to shout those guys out. Started with my own, Bianca Regic.
You got your own intern.
I do. I feel very
Does
fortunate.
That make you feel special?
Actually, I really don't have her to myself.
She's split.
She's split. But I feel super fortunate to have her on board. Justin Audige, who's been a soccer staple in the community.
Phenomenal.
Incredible
Kid.
in the office and on the field. For our staff team, we go to him.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Morlock, who's been incredible for us as well. And then Rob, I don't want to mispronounce his last name.
Alakin?
Yeah. How's it spelled?
With an O.
Sorry, Rob.
He's an
I love you, though.
He's an intern.
Yes.
It's Rob the intern.
There you go.
And
It is
intern
Rob.
Rob.
my intern, Kristen Hazley, who jumped on in January. We've got Nolan Anderson.
Sharice Yoder.
Sharice. Man, I feel like we should go through all of them that we had as well last summer. Because they really are an integral part of the day-to-day operations. Without them, we'd be screwed, quite frankly. We'd be toast. So it's just another part of the talent pool that we've been able to bring in. They do invaluable work. They're not they're fetching us coffee from time to time, but we go with them to Dunkin' Donuts.
You guys,
it's a group effort.
You guys mentioned that first goal, and you could feel. And I kind of, this was something I wanted to talk to the coaches about, but there's so much other stuff to talk about. Where that you have that. It was that release.
Release, exactly.
It was just that pen up where it's like, when's it going to happen? Are we going to have to wait till the second half?
It's weird watching from the press box because you can't get all the natural sound in there.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm a mime.
I fell over
like
in
I'm
my
watching
seat.
a mime.
I was standing up on a bleacher and I fell over because I was freaking out so much. Chris ran down to the bottom of the railing and was just running back and forth, going crazy. And there was other people that were doing that.
But it was fun because I couldn't hear it all, but I could see it all.
Yeah.
And you could see the release.
I thought our stands were going to collapse at that point.
Yeah,
it was like, holy Lord, we're going to die right now, but we're going to die happy because that just happened.
Exactly. But if you watch the broadcast again from the game and you watch the end of the game, post-game, and the camera pans to the BYB section, game's over. Fans are there, rocking it out. You see a kid who's maybe 12 years old, shirt off, waving his shirt around. Like that's awesome.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And if we can keep that up, we're happy.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to Saturday. Tickets still available, so
Still
they can
available.
go online.
1100.
Uh-huh.
We also have season tickets available. Call us 685-1100. We will set you up.
You can go online, Indy11.com.
Indy11.com. Ticket section.
Okay.
Right there.
You guys doing any kind of giveaways or anything through the Twitter account?
We're not
leading up
doing
to the
any
game,
giveaways.
or?
Do 317 has been doing some free ticket
Brickyard
giveaways.
Battalion is?
There's Brickyard Battalion is. Metro PCS this week is giving away 111 tickets across their various Indianapolis locations.
Okay.
Other contests, City Barbecue has a tailgate contest. You can sign up through our Facebook page.
And that happens every home game, right?
Every home game.
I tried to win that
Get a
one.
free tailgate package. You win it eventually.
I was going to say, I want them to come
Keep
out to
trying.
the Brickyard Battalion section of the tailgate.
I think you guys got
portion.
the tailgate covered.
We got
over
it
there,
covered. We got
from what it
music,
sounded
we got
like on
DJ,
Saturday.
we got everything.
We also got a ball kid contest. McDonald's has 2 spots for ball kids, for certain ball managers for every game. We'll be having that contest unveiled tomorrow. Actually, we did a post today. We'll be doing more posts tomorrow and on Thursday before that contest ends. So
a lot of great, not just ticket giveaways, but a lot of great different contests surrounding the game day experience you can be a part of.
And Indiana being such a huge volunteer state in terms of sports, just want to point out, if you want to go to the game and help out, you should give me a call. Volunteer. No, because you know what? We are a staff of 14. And that staff in the front office is the game ops staff. So we are always looking for help. We've got a lot of partners that we're working with, but they can't show up to every game.
Sure.
So if you want to help out, please contact me again at Guijo Gordon or Guijo, GUI-JO at Indy11.com or 685-1100 if you want to help us out on game days.
And I wanted to take a second to just thank everybody from the Brickyard Battalion on Saturday. The front office, Gabe, Josh, Justin, Derek, Johnny, Dan. I mean, everybody that is, and I'm missing a ton of people. The other Derek, everybody that was part of that, setting that up. Josh Mason's what I like to call the Stratus pole. The thing. I don't know if you saw a picture of me posting it. That thing was higher. That was probably a 3-story flagpole that was raised up above everybody else's in the middle of the parking lot, or at the end of the parking lot, that you could see probably from the stadium.
I'll look for it next week.
Yes, you probably can actually see it from the stadium.
Press box.
Yes, that thing's huge. I don't know the footage of it, and I'm sure he'll probably message me coming up here. Yes, he says large poles. HR. Yeah, HR. It's a podcast, kids. What are we gonna do? We're not on radio here. But everybody from the Brickyard Battalion, from just the OG Brickyard Battalion folks. If it wasn't for them, we said it in the first episode of the Voice of the Brickyard Battalion that if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be a team.
Right.
Really.
And
if it wasn't for that movement, there wouldn't be a team.
Right. And that foundation, is rock solid. But it's also been encouraging to see all the affiliate chapters pop up across the state and want to be a part.
And the Slaughterhouse and the Bloomington folks,
the guys down in the South Siders now.
Yep.
Jeremy down in Columbus is a gung ho guy. Great dude.
And affiliates are important.
Shane up in Fort Wayne over the summer. Fantastic individual. I mean, there's so many great people across the state, wanting to see this thing take off, just from the get-go. And it's a unique thing. Like Larry Lindy in our office, who is one of the more unsung heroes of the staff.
Truly.
Just every now and then we'll look at each other and he'll say it's not supposed to happen like this. Like this isn't how it works.
Right.
In sports, like this, the other foot's gonna drop sometime, and we're like, well, maybe it won't. Maybe the support keeps on coming, and the community keeps rallying around us like they have. Like, being in sports for so long, you kind of get jaded a little bit, but it's been fascinating to see the progression and just see this continue like a snowball downhill, just to pick up steam and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, maybe this is how it happens here.
Maybe
it's phenomenal.
You asked earlier, how do we judge success from the front office, and obviously he gave his answer. But from my perspective, I think growing our fan base, I was on Saturday night cleaning up, putting some stuff in the suites, and the cleaning crew's there. Sharon, I'm giving you a shout out if you're listening. Probably not.
Probably not, but it's okay.
It's all right. But Sharon had no idea about soccer, didn't know a thing about the game. But then she was there. She saw the crowd towards the end. She goes, you know what? I'm coming next week. I'm not working. I'm coming next week. I want to see what it's all about. I have a lot of people coming off that I run into who had nothing to do with soccer. They know I'm involved with the soccer team. They've been hearing they heard about the game. They heard about some of the other events. They're coming. And if we can keep growing that soccer base, maintain that interest, make sure people have a good time, from the moment they get out of their car to the moment they get back in their car or get on their bike. Toto Cho, shout out.
I'm a walker.
Yeah.
All you walkers out there.
Yeah.
That's all we want, and that's a success to me. So I think if we can keep that up.
I think if people try it once, they'll be hooked.
Well, and
that's the biggest testament.
And that's one of the reasons that I was glad that you guys were coming on tonight, because we're going to talk a lot to the players and to high-profile media folks, and local quote unquote celebrities and things like that. But you guys are the ones that are the reason that this is all happening. And
Well,
I
don't know
to,
about that.
to a certain, it's the fans that.
But it's still, if it wasn't for
Or the grease.
if it wasn't for all the work that you've done, there wouldn't be fans there to cheer it on to make it successful. To have those moments where you guys were just talking about saying, hey, if it isn't for, it's like the chicken and the egg type of thing. We could debate all day which one's more important, but in my eyes, and I know in a lot of other people's eyes, the front office is the ones that are there working the long hours. I mean, like you said, you're only a staff of 14. So you can only do so much in a 40-hour work week.
Which I haven't seen. I don't know what that is.
Okay, how about this?
Yeah.
In an Indy 11 work week, you can only do so much in an Indy 11 work week.
I think the important part about our staff is that Peter doesn't talk about being a second division club or a first division club. He just talks about being a professional club. A club that any league in the world, be it NASL or MLS or the Premiership or the Scottish 4th Division would want and in their league and be a flag bearer for their league, be the standard bearer. And that's all we want to do is be seen as a professional club and have our cues taken from there and have outsiders look at us and be like, they're doing things the right way, and that's what guides us. We just want to be professional on every turn.
I told you, the food's making me segue like crazy right now. Talking about professional club.
Maybe we need our own show.
I think
Feeding
so.
each other.
We are.
I feel like John Stockton.
Oh, dude, we
Listen,
got great chemistry.
Don't you dare take my airspace, guys. You're not taking my airspace.
Just want to
You
put
can
it out
come on
there.
whenever you want to. You can come on here.
Appreciate that. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, so glad
It's
to be here.
overdue. It's
Thank
overdue.
you. Thank you. The gala, we were working towards releasing our lookbook that we've been working on. I don't know if you had a chance to see it so
I did.
far. We are going to push it out. We're going to push it out on our website soon. So for all you ladies out there who like a well-dressed soccer player, we're really trying to expand our reach, and I think it really puts our guys in a professional light again. And that's really what we're striving for, and that's just one aspect of many ways. We're aiming high, and that's what we're going for. It doesn't matter how you classify us. We're just trying to do the best we can no matter what.
And a lot of times it's just doing it or asking to do it.
Right.
It's not, that's how I even approached you. I'm like, okay, it's a professional soccer team. Why the hell would they ever want to deal with a podcast that
Never know until you
that was only like 2 shows into doing it at a bar, where I'm just like, hey, do you think that you could send so-and-so onto my show? And you're like, sure. And I was like, well, apparently it's that easy just to ask.
It also helps that we happen to have one of the most media-friendly and savvy presidents in all of American sports, let alone
You don't even have to
soccer.
say media friendly, just friendly overall.
No,
Exactly.
it's true.
That guy is
It's
just
true.
ridiculous.
Peter's a one-of-a-kind individual, and for he's a Chicago guy, a Milwaukee guy.
We drank some schlaps the last time he was here.
That's
He's
his
just a
thing.
Midwestern guy, and once I heard that Peter had maybe an iron in the fire,
Yeah.
that could end up with him starting a team in Indianapolis, I kind of thought about it. I'm like, he'll kill it here. I mean, he will absolutely crush it
What's your
if he
employee
goes
number?
through with this. I'm number 4.
10.
Oh, you were 1 away from being the important one, right?
Maestro, 10.
Yes. In terms of soccer numbers,
That's right.
you are the
Nothing
important
else,
one.
right? Nothing.
Hey, so you're talking about Peter. My first interview for Indy 11 was at Chatham downtown,
Okay.
which
That's where
all
I met.
comes
That's where I
together.
met you the first time,
that's where
anyway.
we met.
Yeah.
What's
so-
that?
It's a great story.
I get accused of that a lot in the office.
Yes. A great story. And you know what? We'll leave it for the next time that you come on the show. Next time you come on the show, I want to hear it.
Okay.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up because we're like 2 hours in. But anyway, I just want to thank, of course, Coach Sommer, Coach Tim. I'm just gonna call him Coach Tim.
Coach Tim.
Coach
That
Tim
works.
sounds good.
A little respect for Coach Regan.
No, I'm gonna call him Coach Tim.
Okay, fair
I don't want to call him Coach Regan.
That's catchy.
Coach Tim works. Coach Juergen, Coach Sommer, yeah, that works.
Right.
I'm all about catchy. It's this media
If
thing.
you want to go catchy, call him Yergs.
Yergs?
Yergi.
How about JS?
JS.
If his middle name had an R involved, we
What
would
is
just call
his
him
middle name?
Juniors.
Do we know his middle name?
Don't.
Huh.
We gotta
Ooh,
find
that would've been a
out.
good trivia
Yeah,
question.
That's
we got-
something even more German than Juergen.
I hope it is.
Probably just something that sounds
like
angry.
Juergen Franz.
Sounds something.
Sommer.
It's just something that sounds angry.
Well, it's German. Everything sounds angry.
Yes, right.
You could be telling your beloved that they're the most beautiful
Yeah.
flower on the planet, and it would still come out angry in German. That's the beautiful part about the language.
Exactly. Of course, thank you, Gijo, John, for being here.
Thank you, man.
Um,
For having us.
Of course, follow them on Twitter. John rarely checks his own Twitter.
No, I've stopped
But
checking my own Twitter.
at
account.
Indy 11
I had to be told an hour ago to check my Twitter feed.
You pretty
for
much
Rick
run
Astley
Indy
reference.
11's Twitter handle for the most part, right?
99.5%.
So if it's at Indy 11, it's this guy right here.
I'm sorry. I apologize. in
Gijo's Twitter is a lot of retweets.
It is. I live off to work with other people.
Gijo's Twitter's a lot
I
of
favor a
retweets.
lot.
Yes, it's okay. That's okay though.
So
Of
do
course,
I. So do I. So.
Of course, at PR Podcast Show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, PermanentRelegation.com, at @the_BYB.
Challenging me.
When you are out,
Tweeting right now.
oh, there you go, get it. This might be the first tweet in probably like half a month.
First original tweet in
Yes,
6 months.
of course, on Saturday, come out to Lot B. That is the general parking.
I might try to actually get my work done early. And
Get
meet
it!
you
Get out here and hang out with us, buddy.
Where is
Joe,
this?
you coming? Lot B,
South side of Lot B.
Oh, yeah.
Lot B
right
10.
off of
New York Street.
New York.
Burnhill.
Barnhill?
Barnhill, yeah.
Barnhill, New York and Barnhill,
True.
right by the parking garage.
Shout out to Mike Ken, by the way.
You will see you'll see a BYB tent. You'll see a 28-foot. I just got a text. It's 28-foot Josh Mason pole
Nice.
with a Indy 11 flag on it.
HR.
Of course, thanks to you guys for the hard work.
Hey.
Selfies.
Hey.
I don't want to make it look like I'm sucking the microphone. Anyway, I just wanted
Kinda looks that way,
to.
actually.
Okay,
I'm gonna
anyway,
have
that's
to
fair.
rethink that.
It's okay, whatever. Come out to Lot B. A suggested donation of $5 gets you a stadium cup. We've got 1,000 of those, so it's a limited edition stadium cup.
I want that.
Of course, the Brickyard Battalion has purchased some Flat 12 for you. You can drink it for free, but donation, just buy the cup.
They're encouraged.
Yes, it's encouraged. Encourage
Help
donation.
Bob and Valerie and all those guys
Yes,
out over there.
exactly. Anyway, we're probably going to get kicked out of here soon, so thanks for listening. This will be up on YouTube, even though YouTube is having a really hard time. But make sure you like us on iTunes and review us. At Caged Fear, at Cibala, I'm hoping he's feeling better. He was having a rough time,
out,
and
Chris.
he really wanted to be here.
We missed you, buddy.
We did miss him. But thanks for everybody for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Be there Saturday against Tampa Bay.
No
Root on
excuses.
Indy 11 and chant your face off. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.